Welcome to Smart Stock Watch. It is March 3rd, 2026, and today we are analyzing the full year 2025 earnings report from Pampa Energía, one of the most significant players in Argentina's energy sector. Joining me to break down the numbers is John, senior analyst from Smart Stock Watch. John, Pampa has been at the center of Argentina's energy transition. What's the high-level view of this report?
Thanks for having me. Pampa Energía's 2025 report reflects a company in the middle of a massive strategic pivot. We're seeing a significant increase in top-line revenue, which hit nearly $2 billion, and a very healthy jump in operating income. However, the bottom line tells a more complex story due to the volatile economic and regulatory environment in Argentina. They are leaning heavily into Vaca Muerta and LNG, which are the real growth engines here.
EPS forecast versus actual performance. Let's address the elephant in the room. Analysts were forecasting an earnings per share of 64 cents based on a survey of 2 analysts, but the actual adjusted EPS came in at 28 cents. That is a significant miss. John, what happened there?
It certainly looks like a big miss on the surface. The net profit for the year was $378 million, down from $619 million in 2024. The primary driver for this wasn't operational, it was the tax line. In 2024, Pampa benefited from a $121 million income tax credit, whereas in 2025, they faced a $204 million tax expense. If you look at operating income, it actually grew from $440 million to $503 million. So the core business is actually getting stronger, even if the net earnings were hit by the reversal of tax benefits and currency fluctuations.
Revenue and segment performance. Looking at the segments, revenue grew by about 6.5% year over year. The generation and oil and gas segments seem to be doing the heavy lifting. Can you walk us through the performance of these divisions?
Absolutely. The generation segment remains the largest contributor, bringing in $791 million. They've benefited from the new spot market regime and supply contracts with CAMMESA. In oil and gas, revenue jumped to $740 million, up from $623 million last year. This was largely driven by a massive increase in oil sales, which more than doubled to $267 million. They are successfully shifting their mix toward crude oil, particularly from the Vaca Muerta region. Petrochemicals, however, saw a decline to $443 million due to lower international prices and a more competitive domestic market.
Strategic investments and Vaca Muerta expansion. Pampa seems to be betting the house on Vaca Muerta. The report mentions some very ambitious investment figures for the Rincón de Aranda block. How significant is this for their future outlook?
It's the cornerstone of their growth strategy. They are planning to invest over $1.5 billion in Rincón de Aranda to reach a production level of 45,000 barrels of oil per day by 2027. To support this, they are participating in the VIMOS project, which is a $3 billion pipeline project connecting Vaca Muerta to an export port. This isn't just about producing more, it's about the infrastructure to get that oil to global markets. They've already secured firm transportation agreements for 50,000 barrels per day, which de-risks that production growth significantly.
Regulatory changes and the RIGI framework. Argentina's regulatory environment is always a major factor. The report mentions the RIGI, the incentive regime for large investments. How is Pampa utilizing this?
The RIGI is a game changer for them. It provides 30 years of regulatory stability and significant tax benefits, like a reduced 25% income tax rate and accelerated depreciation. Pampa has already had projects approved under this regime, including the Sisa liquefaction project and the VIMOS pipeline. Also, the new spot regime for electricity, which started in November 2025, is moving the market toward more competition and direct contracting. This should allow Pampa to capture better margins as they move away from centralized fuel landtrek.
Cash flow and financial health. Finally, let's look at the balance sheet. Despite the heavy investments, the company seems to have improved its cash position. What do the liquidity metrics tell us?
The cash flow story is actually very positive. Net cash from operating activities rose to $778 million, up from $435 million in 2024. This allowed them to fund nearly $1 billion in property, plant, and equipment acquisitions. Their total debt decreased slightly to $1.89 billion, and they maintain a very healthy cash pile of $725 million. The leverage ratio did tick up to 18% from 13%, but that's expected given the capital-intensive nature of their current projects. They are successfully refinancing older debt with new international corporate bonds at competitive rates.
Key takeaways. John, to wrap things up, Pampa Energía delivered a year of strong operational growth and massive strategic positioning, even if the bottom line was muddied by CACs and currency issues. The miss on EPS is notable, but the cash flow and infrastructure progress are hard to ignore. What's your final take for investors?
Pampa is a long-term play on Argentina's energy independence and export potential. The 2025 results show they can generate strong cash flow even in a volatile environment. With the RIGI benefits kicking in and the Vaca Muerta production set to ramp up, the next 2 years will be about execution. If they hit those production targets at Rincón de Aranda, the current EPS miss will look like a minor footnote.
Thank you, John, and thank you for watching Smart Stock Watch. Pampa Energía is clearly a company in transition, moving from a domestic utility-heavy model to a global energy exporter. What do you think about their Vaca Muerta strategy? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most interesting earnings reports. We'll see you next time.